Hello everyone, this is the Mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me today as I take a deeper look into the most recent episode of SWV and XScape, the Queens of R&B. I will not be doing a full episode recap as there are plenty of other content creators who do a great job covering the show. Instead, I'm going to focus on specific segments of the episode that I believe can be used as teachable moments for myself and the audience. So, first, I'm going to discuss Love and Maritime's film. I found out yesterday that Stormi was friends with Arionne before she met Melody. And I heard rumors of this a few months ago, but I kind of blocked it out because at that time, and I talked about this already, at that time, a lot of people were starting up drama with the cast. A lot of social media followers, a lot of bloggers, they were just making up stories. So I was like, let me just pull back away from the show, which I did. I stopped following the social media stories. I stopped watching the YouTube videos. I just stopped because it was too much for me. So I'm a little bit behind when it comes to the goings on of this show. And when it was kind of sort of confirmed that Stormi was friends with Arionne before she met Melody, I was honestly like so surprised and disturbed. Disturbed. Why? I kept asking why would this happen. Apparently Stormi was Arionne's hairdresser at one point, and they would talk about the show and they would talk about Melody and so on. Now I honestly don't think that Stormi came onto the show to do bad by Melody. I don't think she wanted to take Melody's spot. I just think she wanted to be famous by any means necessary. But unfortunately for her, she started a relationship with Arionne before she met Melody, and Arionne, because she was jealous and bitter about the fact that Stormi kind of iced her out after she got on the show. She didn't pay much attention to her anymore. Their relationship kind of fell apart. I think that's why Arionne dropped dime on Stormi, and this is what the Bible means when it says like your enemies become your footstools, because Arionne inadvertently helped Arionne inadvertently helped Melody by exposing the fact that she and Stormi used to talk about Melody all the time and how they had some sort of relationship. I don't think they were close friends. I don't think they were best friends. I don't think they were buddy-buddy like that. I just think that they were acquaintances who had a professional relationship because Stormi was her hairdresser. And they, Stormi was trying to get the tea. So she would pretend to care about Arionne. She would act nice, and act like she was supportive of her, whatever the case may be. And that was just her way of getting more information from Arionne as a so-called bootleg friend. I don't think that Stormi was ever Arionne's friend, period. I just think that she pretended to be her friend, like many women do, to be up in her business. A lot of women do this. So I think that once Stormi got on the show, she had no use for Arionne anymore in a sense. And Arionne felt burned and she felt used. So she decided to clap back and expose the fact that they had a relationship before the show. And she didn't tell Melody this. Stormi did not tell Melody this. I think that Stormi was between a rock and a hard place because I think that she didn't expect to like Melody the way that she did. You know how you hear about somebody before you meet them and the things that you hear about them turn out to not be true, right? So all of the nastiness and the gossip and the bullshit that Arionne was saying about Melody, when Stormi met Melody, she realized that wasn't true. And Melody was nothing like the way people were complaining about, right? If you guys remember, I always talked about the fact that from the beginning of the show, Melody had haters. Not just among the audience, but some of the content creators were not too particularly fond of Melody, and I did not understand why. So I wasn't surprised that Stormi and Arionne bonded over their dislike of Melody. But I think that Stormi was pleasantly surprised when she met Melody and how much she liked her. In the last episode, when Stormi asked what was wrong, what happened between them, she looked concerned. And I thought that she was concerned because, she valued their friendship. I think she was concerned because she felt guilty about what she thought Melody found out about the fact that she and Arionne were friends before she even met Melody. It's crazy. This shit is crazy as hell to me. But this is definitely Mars in the 12th house. Secret enemies. I'm not saying that Stormi was her enemy, I don't think that Stormi disliked Melody when she met her. I don't think that Stormi intended to go on the show to fuck with Melody. I don't think so at all. I just think that she got caught up. It's like when you meet a guy, right? As an example, you meet a guy and he doesn't tell you that he's married. And then at some point he begins to fall for you and he doesn't want to tell you the truth because he doesn't want to lose you and his wife. So he keeps lying, right? Until the truth comes out. I think that Stormi was in that situation where she realized that she liked Melody, but the past is already the past. She had already bonded with Arionne, who had the tea, and because Arionne again is bitter and jealous of all the cast members of the show, she was like, oh, she just used me for information, and now she is like friends with my enemy. Now my former friend is friends with my enemy, right? Just like my boyfriend is still in love with my enemy too. So I think Arionne wanted to get back at Stormi and Melody by dropping the tea on Stormi because she felt slighted about the fact that, you know, again, I think Stormi dropped her like a hot potato. Once she got on the show, she didn't need her anymore. She didn't need any more tea, any more info, any more intel. There was no reason for them to bond about anything else. They have nothing else in common. You know, I don't even think that Stormi respects Arionne, to be honest, because she's a homewrecker. She was just pretending to like her or pretending to be nice to her for the tea. That's all. And so when women trust you, they spill their guts to you. And so in order for her to get the intel about Melody, she had to pretend to care about Arionne, and that's it. So yeah, I'm going to extend some grace to Stormi. I don't think that she intended to go on Love and Marriage Huntsville to take Melody's spot. I just think that she wanted to be famous and popular and well known. I don't think Stormi is dumb. It would have been a kamikaze mission for Stormi to go on Melody's show and try to fuck with her. That wasn't going to happen. I don't think Stormi intended to do that. I think that she just wanted to be famous, and once she found her way in, she got close to Melody and actually liked her as a person, right? She became cool with her in a sense, but Melody is like, no. Melody is like, I can't trust you. I don't trust you. You fucking crazy. I understand that. Now it makes sense why Melody would say, yeah, follow me on IG. Because we're not cool no more. Why would you act stupid, Stormi? Why would Stormi act stupid? As if she didn't know why Melody would stop talking to her. Mrs. I want to keep it real. Mrs. I want to be consistent. Why would you not be aware of this? You're not a dumb girl. So why would you just act like you don't know why Melody would stop talking to you as if she's a bad guy in this situation when you were talking shit about her and you didn't even know her? You took the side of the mistress instead of Melody. That is crazy to me. And now, like I said, I mean, this is crazy to me. What? What is happening in Huntsville is too small. Huntsville is way too small. If I was Melody, I wouldn't trust no fucking body neither. I'm not saying that Stormi had bad intentions, but I still would look at you with the side eye if you were talking shit about me behind my back and you didn't even know me, and now you in my face smiling and cheesing as if we're best friends and you cool like that. No. If you 100, be 100. You should have stood on your square and said, yo, before I met you, I had a whole different idea of who you was. I used to talk shit about you to Arionne, and now that I met you, I realized that I was wrong. I was fucked up for that. Damn. I apologize. Mrs. I'm honest and transparent, and I want to be consistent and a good friend. That's not good friendship. That's fakery. And that's why Melody probably doesn't trust her either, because she wasn't upfront with the bullshit. That's crazy. Anyway, on to SWV and Escape. I really like this episode. I like this series. I think that the Queens of R&B is the series, and SWV and Escape are the two groups that were chosen to showcase for this first season. But I think for the next season, 2 other artists are going to be chosen for this show. That's what I think, okay? Alrighty, so, yeah, the show starts off when they're, trying to get through rehearsals. I am, dumbfounded about how disorganized Escape is. I think they pulled it together at the last minute, but that's a waste of resources to not have, pre-packaged performance sets, like a set of songs that you perform if you're co-headlining, a set of songs you perform during Valentine's Day, a set of songs you perform in a particular city. I don't know why they don't have pre-packaged performances set up, because it's very efficient and a waste of energy and time to have a 15-hour rehearsal the day before the show. That's insane. I'm not saying it's 15 hours, but it was a lot of time. And Coco was getting frustrated and agitated because they didn't have their stuff together. And so she was like, I'm about to hurt somebody. For real. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They looked hot. It looked disorganized. They couldn't get it together. Like, you know, there was so much emphasis put on the appearance of it, the costumes and the drip and the fashion and stuff like that. But there wasn't enough effort put into like the actual production of the show itself. So yeah, XScape, this long in a game, they should have been at it together. They should be rehearsing randomly on a weekly basis. This should not be something that just pops up. Oh yeah, we're gonna do a show. Let's put something together last minute. No, they should already have various different set lists put together based on the venue, based on the event, based on the time of year, based on whether or not they're co-headlining with someone else, or whether or not they're part of a larger concert. Like, they should have pre-arranged set lists so that whenever they do a show, they can just pick and choose, and you know, they can shift it around. It's more modular, as opposed to we're going to do this last minute as if it's the first time we're performing. That's crazy to me. That was an inefficient use of resources and a waste of time. Speaking of wasting resources, so Latocha shows up with an entourage of people, and she's like, they're my family now. They treat me better than you, Tamika. So earlier in the episode, Tamika and the ladies confront Tasha about the fact that her husband was getting kickbacks because he was the one negotiating, or he was the one who convinced his wife to have them do the show together, right? I am not sure if Latocha knew that he was getting a kickback if she would agree to do the show. I don't know. I don't think she knew about the money thing. I could be wrong, but I prefer to give people the benefit of the doubt until otherwise, you know, proven. I think her husband knew about the kickback and he didn't tell her about it. I think he does a lot of things behind her back. With that said, Tamika is definitely brainwashed by him, and he's going to destroy her career. He looks so mischievous and deceptive and like sneaky and grimy. Like, I don't like the way he looks. His eyebrows look very deceptive, like he's lying. And so it's embarrassing to be a grown man to have to lie on how you're getting your money as a grown man. It's embarrassing. So I think he took the money. Absolutely. Okay, he was probably tricking it off on one of his side pieces, because I don't think his wife knew about it. The same thing with the $30,000. I think he took the money. I don't think Latocha knew about it. I really don't think she did. I think he does a lot of business deals behind her back using her name. A lot of men do this. I'm not saying it's impossible for Latocha to know about it, but in this instance, I don't think that she was aware. But I do not like the fact that she blamed the ladies for what her husband was doing. There was evidence and receipts. Like, they would not come to her with this accusation for the sake of what? Starting shit? Like, that would cause a greater rift in the group for them to even confront her about this. So Tasha handled it the way I thought she would. She was avoidant. She ran away. She was like, nah, he ain't do this, that, and the third. I'm going to stick by my husband. And, you know, to Candy's credit, she showed some understanding. All the ladies showed understanding, pun intended. They showed some understanding to Latocha, like, yo, I know this is your husband and you got to defend him, but this ain't cool at all. I'm glad they didn't get into a big, nasty fight about it, because they got paper. And getting into a big, nasty fight would have been counterproductive, to be honest. But I'm glad that they addressed the elephant in the room. They confronted her. And I think Tamika felt really bad because she didn't want to confront her sister. It's just that it is what it is. And I think that after that confrontation, that conversation, Latocha saw Tamika as the ops. Now you're siding with these two women against your own family, against your sister. I felt ambushed, right? That's probably how she feels. And now she's going to stiff arm Tamika and treat her like a stranger. Like, oh, these people treat me better than you do. So me calling you out on your shit because you want people to kiss your ass. Me calling you out on your shit is treating you poorly. That is Latocha's mentality. And that's their mother's mentality too. That's the way the mother raised them. Just like Latocha, their mother does not want to be held accountable for her dysfunctional, abusive, manipulative behavior. And the fact that she probably took the money too, or was in on it, or she knew about it. So yeah, I think that Tamika is doing a great job standing on her square, being strong and assertive and confident in her decision to not allow Latocha to manipulate her anymore. I know she was hurt when Latocha was like, oh, you know, that's my family now. This big old entourage that her husband probably hired to create a buffer between Latocha and the members of the group so that he can continue to control her. Men always do this. It's the same old playbook. So now you have a bunch of ass kissers around you, a bunch of leeches, a bunch of yes men around you to gas your balloon head up. And now your sister is your enemy until she apologizes to you for you fucking her over, for your husband taking her money. Tamika is in the wrong because she had the audacity to inconvenience me by asking where her money went, right? Now all eyes are on her. Now her husband looks like a scammer, a criminal. And so that makes Latocha look bad, and now she has a gripe with Tamika. So Latocha apologized to Tamika about a week ago on Instagram, crying about the sisterhood and how she misses her sister and she loves her. Yet we see this episode, Tamika tries to bridge the gap between them. She tries to reconcile with her sister and to figure out what's going on. She was very emotional about it because she feels like they're only communicating with each other when they're performing or when they're on stage or when they're about to, when they have meetings about the group. They don't talk to each other outside of that. And Latocha tried to make it seem like, oh, you're jealous of me and my husband and you want all my attention. That's not what it is. Tamika feels like as she is growing into her own strength and her own power, that Latocha is distancing herself from her because she can't control her anymore. So now you're the reason why we're not as close as we used to be, because you're not the same person as you used to be, Tamika. You're not allowing me to manipulate you into blaming yourself for my actions or my husband's actions or our mother's actions. You're coming into your own. So now I have a problem with you. You're bucking the system. These people treat me better than you. Who people? The entourage that your husband hired to kiss your ass? So you want ass kissers. Mrs. Diana Ross. She wants ass kissers. But you want to go on Instagram and cry about how much you love your sister and how much you want things to work out between you guys, and you want to mend fences. It's too late for that because you showed your entire ass in that dressing room. Now, albeit this was not the right place to have like a long, drawn out conversation because the show just ended, ladies are tired, people want to go home. I get that. But I think that Tamika felt desperate because it was like, as soon as she leaves this stage or as soon as we leave this venue, we're not going to talk anymore. And that's the way she felt. I really appreciate the fact that Candy consoled Tamika like a big sister should. And Tiny was sympathetic to her also. It's always helpful to have a support group around you, especially when you come from a family or a friend group of narcissists. Especially, you need people like Candy to console you, give you advice, to protect you, to comfort you, all that stuff. Now, Candy, okay, so a couple days ago, I said that I was not cool with Todd having access to extra women if he wasn't going to be the protector and the provider of the family. I said that I'm only cool with women having polygamous or polyamorous situations if they're the ones in charge of that process. And so you guys informed me that Candy is actually in charge of the process of choosing the women because she's actually bisexual. So with that said, I'm cool with it. I'm okay with her having, not that my opinion matters anyway, but I'm 100% okay with her, inviting other people into the bedroom if that's her choice and she's the one dictating how this happens. Yes, Todd benefits, and it is what it is. He benefits from that. But I feel like Candy is the man in that relationship. So she's making the money, she's calling the shots, and she's running things the way that she wants to run them without emasculating her husband. So I'm happy that Candy is in a marriage or relationship where she is getting exactly what she wants. She hasn't had to compromise herself or belittle herself or dim her own lights for her husband. She's allowed to do what she wants to do with her life. Not to be disrespectful to Todd, of course not. But yeah, she's running things because she should be running things because she's running the money, period. But Todd is also supportive of her, and she does not lord that over him. She doesn't try to use her money to puppet him around or control him. So I respect that about her also. So that's good. If that's what happens, it is what it is. As far as Latocha and her husband, while I don't think they have a sexually open marriage, I think that he's definitely cheating on her. If you will lie about money, if you will steal money from your own family, you will definitely cheat. So it is what it is. It looks like Tasha's energy is she seems so lost, depressed. Her energy is not exuberant or vibrant or confident. Something going on with her where she has this low vibrational energy about her. I hope that she can get some healing and leave this relationship because it seems to be sucking the life out of her. She looked great in the costumes. Speaking of the costumes, I think the costumes were tailored really well. Great garment construction by the stylist. He did a good job with that. I think the ladies looked good considering what I see them wear usually. It was more toned down, more tasteful, more age appropriate in my opinion. They looked really good on stage. The performances came together really well in the end. Both groups did a great job performing. They all did great. Everybody did awesome, to be honest. And I heard that Latocha is no longer in the group. I think that's fine. Latocha acted like she was too good for them the entire time. So why would she still be part of the group? She was disrespectful. Her husband stole money from the group members. And she showed up to rehearsal, the final dress rehearsal, 2.5 hours late. 2.5 hours late. She was late to most of their meetings or didn't show up at all. Like, you're not part of the group, so why should you benefit? I think her album came out on Easter yesterday, which is great marketing, but this show did not do well for her brand. The show made her look like a toxic Christian, a typical toxic Christian. She can sing, but she's not the gospel. She does not embody Christianity. She embodies the hypocrisy that a lot of Christian folks have. And speaking of which, what do you guys think of Blac Chyna's reformation? A few weeks ago, when I saw her broadcasting the fact that she was changing her image and changing her, body modifications and getting rid of the plastic surgery and trying to clean up her image, I was like, this is some performative ass bullshit. That's what I thought. This is performative as hell. Because Blac Chyna and the rest of these IG baddies that have been around for 10 years will do anything for a bag. Anything for money. I'm not saying you can't change and become a better person. We all can. But the fact that she made this process so public, and then I saw the pictures of her, wearing some gown in front of a cross, it's so, no. It confirmed my suspicions. People like this have no moral compass. I'm not saying you can't find God later. I'm not saying that at all. But that's not a process that people usually broadcast publicly. It's something that's very private and intimate. It's not something you use to make money off of. You don't go on a press tour talking about how saved you are. I do think that there is some benefit to that in a sense of, like, a lot of women will now go along the right path. They may, decide to opt out of getting surgeries. So that's good in that way. But Blac Chyna and the women like Kim Kardashian and the women like, what's her name, Amber Rose, they planted spoiled, rotten, poisonous seeds. And now they're changing their grift into something more spiritual or legitimate and using and harvesting those poison seeds for more business. So all the women that I tricked into thinking that thottery and hoedom is the way to go, I'm going to fleece those women. Those same women that I've helped to brainwash and misguide, I'm going to fleece those women for money, for support, for narcissistic supply. Oh my God, you're doing so great, you're saved now. And that's not the intention. The intention is to fucking grift. Like the rest of these pastors. That's what I really believe. It's not about people not finding their faith and not giving people the chance to find God. That's all good and well. I'm all for that. I'm all for women reinventing themselves and, changing the course of their lives for the better. I'm all for that 100,000%, but not for a grift. Not for this TD Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Eddie Long nonsense. Because she's been in Hollywood for over a decade now. And Hollywood is probably one of the most debaucherous places in this country. Debaucherous, satanic, all this other shit. And all of a sudden now you're doing a 180. You're going on a press tour about how saved you are and how much you want to do better. And it's about fucking money. To me. Listen, spirituality doesn't mean accepting everything and accepting bullshit. If you're spiritual, you have discernment. A lot of spiritual people have discernment or wisdom about certain things. So again, I don't think it's a bad thing for her to change her image if it's for the right reason. But like I said yesterday, sometimes people do the right things for the right reasons, the right things for the wrong reasons, the wrong things for the right reasons, and the wrong things for the wrong reason. I think that Blac Chyna is doing the right thing as far as cleaning up her image for the wrong reason. And people are going to fall into the rabbit hole of being grifted by these people who do not believe in God, who are not religious, who are not spiritual, who don't care about humanity. All they care about is money. That's what they've shown their entire lives. How can I get more money? Now I'm in my 30s. I can't get as much money as I used to because I'm aged out the gate. There are younger hoes who look better than me, and they're younger. They have less bodies on them. They're fresh and new, right out of high school. So how can I get praise for reforming my image and finding God and still get the bag? Trust and believe it is always about the bag with these people. That's why I do not respect a lot of Hollywood types. I've said this more than once. I don't like celebrities. Dick Gregory said it, the late Dick Gregory. He was like, celebrities are the most disgusting people that you'll ever meet. Entertainers are the most disgusting people ever. He said this. I've never been a stan of any celebrity. I don't believe in that. They're human just like us. So I'm hoping that she's not grifting and using religion to do this. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that she really found God and she wants to do right versus trying to get a bag. And then we'll find out a few years from now she's pimping the women in her congregation, the women who need help. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. She was accused of pimping before, being a madam before. All of a sudden now you want to switch shit up. No! And the reason why I felt this way was because she was making a promotional tour about it. Like it was a huge social media announcement. She's on doing interviews. I'm like, who does this? Who does this like this? This is performative for me. I said this weeks ago and I was hated for it. I didn't say it to you guys. I said it to my friends. And they were like, oh, you hating, you know. Now you don't know. Some people, they find God later. That is true. But I don't think she's one of them. I don't think that's her. And I think that Tasha's doing the same thing. Let me go to the church grift. Because now that Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces, we're on our spiritual kick. Everybody's fucking spiritual now, which is fine. You can be spiritual, but actually be that. Don't just say it, because it's a process. It's very difficult to live a spiritual per se life. And what is spirituality? I'll discuss that later. But it's very difficult to live that way, to live a spiritual life. And spirituality is about authenticity. Authenticity. Being true to who you are. Aligning with your true purpose, doing what you were born to do. And in the process of discovering that is a spiritual process, because sometimes you got to lose people, you got to lose jobs, lose money, lose your health to find out, what am I really here for? What's my purpose? So sometimes to become more spiritual, you have to go through an ego death, and you have to lose your identity of who you thought you were based on how you were conditioned in society. So a lot of these people doing this grift, that's cool and everything, but I'm not going to take you seriously. I really hope she's not doing this for money. I hope so. But if she is, I'm going to talk about it for real. I talked about this before as far as like how the Black community has been fleeced, not just by the corporations, but they've been fleeced by pastors to the tunes of billions of dollars per year of money that's not being reinvested in the community. That money's being taken out and used to purchase homes and Maseratis and luxury vehicles and things like that have nothing to do with enriching the community. So now the community we're supposed to be serving, they're in even more distress. So since you started your church 20 years ago, you've gotten so much wealthier. All this money is, coming in, Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes, right? Joel Osteen. But your community is suffering even more. More drug addicts, more abortions, more broken homes, more domestic violence, more ignorance, right? So what are you doing? What's the purpose of this fucking church if people are getting sicker and sicker? And this is why Jesus did what he did. That's why he was crucified, because he dropped down on these fake Christians 2,000 years ago. He peeped the hustle a long time ago. All right, but I'm going to leave it there. I look forward to reading your feedback. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.